I just started recording, and same as usual, I'll be a minute or so. I'm looking for something to talk about.
One. Attackers incoming. Escort the payload.
All right, so we're
This will take
playing with
position.
Bastion. Yeah. So when we're with the Bastion, we do want to be careful about just eating up all the spam. If we need to, we want to probably look to try to rotate between like using ourselves as like a like body tanking him, right? Like body blocking for
Mhm,
him
mhm.
and using our shield as well because we don't necessarily want to just sit there hard shielding because of course then our shield gets melted and then we don't have shield when he actually needs it when we're blocking abilities and whatnot, which is all stuff we've discussed in the past, so we just need to identify like when do I need to be shielding for Bastion. So I
This
think
will
coming out this initial setup period is fine because you're getting him on cart. He's going to of course need you. After that, blocking Helix is fine. Might drop your shield for a second because like for example like right here nobody's there to look at you, might want to recharge it, keep it down for a little bit. Bastion shouldn't be getting melted anytime soon. He's being pocketed by Moira and Baptiste, and if you're standing in front of him body blocking, he should be fine. So you might consider dropping your shield for a second, a couple seconds here. Let it recharge, get it up to full, and then that way you have it for like the fight. So yeah, that just might be a good idea there.
Okay, that makes
Right.
sense.
So good idea to let it recharge here at the very least, right?
this will restore you.
That was well played. Yeah. It's a little slow to react to the diva on top of your Bastion, right?
Mhm,
That took us like 3 seconds ish, right? Because diva's on him like right now, right?
mhm.
So listening to audio awareness, and it takes us multiple seconds after that 1, 2, 3, and then we're back on him, right? So we want to make sure we're keeping up our audio awareness and listening, but then also just visually paying attention because we could, I think we could see her there on our screen as well.
Um, I'm not getting any sound
Oh,
through your stream, just as an FYI.
yeah, is it? Let me see. Is it just because the sound is low? Let me check. Can you hear the game now?
Yeah.
No? Okay, then let me try restarting the stream. One moment. Let me turn that sound back down. Okay. Are you able to hear now?
No, not hearing anything.
Okay. Have you checked to make sure that this on your end the stream volume is up?
That's a good
You
question.
can, so to check that, you right click the stream.
Okay, it's like it's 70%. I'll turn it up and see.
Yeah.
And try that.
That help at all or no?
Yeah, now I can hear it, but now it is really quiet.
Yeah, okay. So it's possible that it's just really low volume for you. So like you'd be able to hear it now, right?
Yeah, now I can hear it.
All right. So I do have it turned low because that just helps me actually talk, like hear what I'm saying and talk over it. So I'll turn up a little bit so that you can hear it a little bit better, but I'm not gonna turn up too high. That way I'm not
Yeah,
having to
totally fine.
yell over the noise.
For sure.
All right. Let's go back a minute here. Okay. Yep, so we see we have an advantage, we're pushing, I think that's good aggression. Okay, good charge decision, might be getting a little bit over aggressive.
Yeah, me dropping down
Yeah,
right there was a
so
mistake.
here in the situation, right, we charge in, we boop Sigma off into the corner, we swing on Soldier. Um Might want to consider just turning around and going for Sigma, because in this situation, I'd probably be thinking in my head, I'd go for the Fire Strike, because I think I don't think actually either of them is going to die at a Fire Strike, because they're both, like, just a sliver above half HP. In
Mhm.
any case, in the situation, I don't think that we are going to be able to catch up to either of them because they both have higher mobility than us. So
Yeah.
we might be better off just turning around and running at Sigma, who is like, in this tight little corridor with two other of your teammates, and we just gank him, right? So this
Yeah.
is maybe a situation where, like, that just because these guys are squishier, it doesn't really make a difference because you're going to be 3v1ing the Sigma anyways, so he's just going to get melted, and you're probably not going to be able to catch up to these guys. So I just might swap target priority and swap back to the Sigma because we end up missing Fire Strike, but I don't think we would have even been able to kill her even if we did land that.
Yeah.
Right. Besides that, I think decent shielding, decent aggression. We won the point pretty fast there. Just swing at her. Not like Baby
Yeah.
Diva's gonna kill your Bastion. Okay. So let's think a little about this. So let's talk about the proper play here, and then talk about why that doesn't necessarily mean that you should do the proper play here because your team might not be on board with it. So
Mhm.
in this case, we're back here when we know that we're gonna cap, right? If we are paying attention to their spawns and the fact that we just killed half of their team, right? We know that they're going to get 4 bad spawns, right? They are only gonna have 2 teammates here. Actually, I think they get a couple of good spawns. Let's see. Okay, never mind. Recall that. They get 2 bad spawns, right? So they currently have 2 bad spawns, 4 teammates here, right? They get a pick. Okay, so as of this moment, it's a 6v3, right?
Mhm.
As of the moment, right? Probably the play would be to get really aggressive. Or not. Probably the path that you could take would be like under, and we probably want to take this high ground from them, right? And just get
Okay.
aggressive, push these people over here, because look how far away the rest of their teammates are, right?
Right.
Across the map, right? It's gonna take them probably like 15 seconds to regroup as a full 6, right? So
Mhm.
therefore, um probably if we got really aggressive, we'd be able to take their high ground, kill them, right? And then that also takes the high ground advantage away from them. Maybe we could even set up our bastion up on high ground, right?
Mhm.
So in this situation, that is the play I would probably make, because if we're paying attention to the surroundings, that would probably make more sense. Yet, if it's just you pushing and you see that your entire team is sitting on cart, then you
Mhm.
might want to pass on it. I think that your monkey would be able to go with you. Like, you don't need Widowmaker to come with you. You don't
Mhm.
need you don't necessarily need you don't necessarily need Baptiste or Moya or Bastion to come with you. It'd probably be good if they all came with you, right? But
Mhm.
honestly, I think this is honestly fine if it's just you and Monkey even, right? So I would just probably run bottom right. If you see that absolutely nobody's coming with you and you don't feel like you're gonna get any team support and you're just gonna run up and then die, don't do
Mhm.
it. Of course, right? Don't go in suicide. Even if you think it's the right decision, don't go in suicide on your own, right? Because then it
Yeah.
turns into the bad decision. So
Yeah.
it's just identifying that. Because here, I think it would be a good idea to push.
Okay. I do encounter that happening sometimes where, especially on this map, because I prefer to go down to the bottom right and come up and try and take the high ground.
Mm,
And it's not, I don't get support that
yeah.
often. Sometimes I will, but a lot of people want to go main, and
Hmm.
it's difficult
Yeah,
for
you
me to
could.
do anything there.
Yeah, you can also call it out and say, come with, like, they're down. You could say it in chat and say, like, they're down 3 people. Come bottom right. We're gonna go high ground, right? Just communicate that
Okay.
real quick. Say it. You can press group up with me and in your communications wheel, and then
Mhm.
additionally, it just really is going to depend on that case by case basis. Like, if you
Mhm.
feel like you can do it, go ahead and do it. If you don't feel like you can because you're going to get rolled, don't do it, right? It's really going to depend upon the situation whether or not you are going to be able to do it or not.
Right. Right.
Make sure that we're getting out of that. We kind of stood still into it. We could potentially charge out, right? We're on the very, very edge of it. Drop your shield, walk out of it. Instead, we just kind of sit there. So make sure we're reacting faster to that Sigma Flux because we kind of just sit in it.
Yeah.
I'm escorting the payload. Now keep it moving.
I like that we went for the kill instead of just immediately shielding. That's good. Okay, probably want to be pushing up to that. Maybe not, because they have a lot more teammates than I thought they did here. Yeah, okay. So I think definitely taking that high ground initially would have been would have been the way to win that fight.
Moving forward.
Because then we kind of let them regroup. Was the
Yeah.
problem?
Yeah.
Oh, shatter opportunity. Perfect. Perfect still. Perfect. Okay, so go for that shatter opportunity, right? It's just a two.
Mhm.
You're not going in this like up against their team comp, right? Probably not going to have a ton of fantastic six-man shatters because they have been usually typically across the map from us, right?
Yeah.
We haven't been on top of them very often. We've been kind of sitting on our bastion, which might mean that we might want to attempt to get on top of them more often here, right? We might want to attempt to close that distance, get closer to them, get on top of them. But honestly, I think that would have been a perfect situation. You just get it that two-man shatter, and then probably you'd be able to, like, if your whole team's with you here and their team's not, like, I wouldn't say their team's in any particularly good in a great spot to support them, right? Like, look at their supports, like, how are they gonna get to them in time to save them? Probably just a free 2 kills, right? So probably just take what's in front of you there.
Get here.
All right, so identifying a little bit of a problem currently with pay. Okay, so I think at the moment we might be waiting for the Genji to respawn, so that's fine. But so give it a second. I might bring it up again in a moment. We gonna shatter? All right, so we do go for it. I'd go for a charge, right? Because you know you're not going to be able to finish him just by swinging on them, right? Additionally, let's see, when we do go for the shatter, do we have teammates with us, right? Might be worth it waiting that extra, 2 seconds to wait for your Genji to come over with you, right? Or
Mhm.
for your Ana to be within line of sight so she can land in a big nade, right? Might be the play to make. So just pay attention to your team surrounding you, right? Awareness again, but good chatter nonetheless. Probably go for the swing 1, 2, and then right as he's waking up, charge him into a wall. It's not like you're in immediate danger of dying. They're both shattered. You're most of your HP and you're getting healed by 2 supports, right? So we therefore don't really capitalize on that. Okay, so we do get a kill out of it, so that's good. Okay. Uh-oh. Okay, so let's rewatch this a little bit. So even though Bastion's on top of us, it might still be worth it to shield him in this situation if you don't think you can melt him faster than he can one-tap somebody, right? Because Bastion can one-tap your Mercy, right? Or demech your Diva in 1 second. So you have to evaluate, can I kill Bastion faster than that time, right? Because if you can't kill Bastion faster than that time, then that means that then you killing him is irrelevant. What does that even mean? Irrelevant. Yeah, sorry, my words. Because you're going 1 for 1, right? It doesn't even matter,
Right.
right? So in this situation, we need to identify, can I kill him fast enough? You could possibly charge him to kill him faster. Other than that, if he's being pocketed by supports, and I think they toss in a nade they get to, might be worth it just to shield, keep your Bastion alive, let your Diva shoot at him for free, right? And then you only have to do that for like 2 extra seconds, and then his ult ends, right?
Yeah.
Additionally, we get really aggressive and we charge when we're like 200 HP here. And we also miss the
Yeah.
charge. So
Yep.
poor play there.
Fall back.
All right.
Get back.
Get behind.
That's unfortunate. That attempted good charge.
I shall seize the payload safely to its
Maybe shield was up slightly late there. Watching. Did we get needed before or after we charge? Okay. So once we see that we missed that charge, probably is a good idea to immediately be shielding because we know that they're probably going to go for all of their abilities once we hit that very end of our charge, right? Because that's that's what I would be telling, if I'm coaching the Ana player, I'm telling them, okay, why would you try to sleep them in the middle of the charge? Sleep them at the end of the charge when they hit the
Mhm.
wall and they're stunned, right? Nade
Yeah.
them at the end of the charge, rock them at the end of the charge, right? So if you know that they're probably pretty likely to hit you with all these abilities at the very end of your charge, look to
Mhm.
shield immediately after you come out of the charge. Whereas here we delay with the shield, and then we also, after we get rocked and naded and we're 180 HP, we swing. We're slightly delayed to put up the shield, right? So just shielding a little bit faster there probably puts us at 200 HP instead of 100 HP.
Yeah.
Maybe not the best HP to be swinging at. Definitely wouldn't, just be careful there, because we are getting aggressive when we're a little below half and we don't really have shield. So just be careful there at the very least.
You honor me.
Okay, take a look at this Genji, because he's kind of been running around you and we haven't really been paying attention to him. So if we go back a couple seconds here, right? So even back here when we were swinging on the Sigma, right? Genji was here, right? And he ran in after your Ana,
Mhm.
right? If we see Genji's running in after Ana, might want to go help the Ana out. It's probably also safer than trying to run down main when there's a bunch of people there. So if we see Genji, he's Sonicked on the right side, right? We see we know our Ana's over here, right? What we do is we just come over real quick, help out Ana, swing on the Genji a little bit, right? Additionally, let's keep going. So he comes, we see him, he's on the right side. We swing a little bit. We see he's on the right side still. We hear him there. He starts shooting at us. This is all fine. He dashes in. Okay, so we see Genji dashes in.
Mhm.
We're already low, so we want to be backing up a little bit. This is a perfect opportunity to just turn around and punish the Genji, because he's he just used dash. How is he gonna make it out, right? So here,
Yeah.
notice how we just we let him back out, right? We let him get away because we don't swing on him at all, right?
Yeah.
So we want to make sure we're turning around for that Genji. Let's see, how do we die here? Watch the health bar, right? Getting really aggressive when we're low HP.
Yeah. And I had a lot of shield right there too.
Mm-hmm.
Fall back, fall back. Come out and face me.
New objective. Get the payload moving.
Group up. I'm escorting the payload.
All right. Payload does not matter at the moment, right? Payload again is irrelevant. Sorry, my words can't work at the moment. I can't pronounce that word. Relevant. Sorry, irrelevant. All right, there we go. So in any case, right? Doesn't matter. Are you gonna, as of the moment, if you go to payload, are you gonna be able to push it fully and cap?
Probably not.
Okay, why not?
They're gonna engage me before I can
They'd
push it all the
contest
way
you,
to the
right?
point.
So
Yeah.
then, what is the condition to pushing payload to finish?
Getting kills, winning the team fight.
Winning the fight, right? You pushing payload has no impact on you winning the fight. You winning the fight, right? Isn't you only need to win one fight here, right? It's not if payload was all the way over here, right? That makes a little bit of sense to go and touch payload, because you might want it to be here so that when you
Mhm.
win the fight, that's the last fight. They don't get a recontest, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense. When by this point, once it's underneath this bridge and past it, if you win the fight, they don't get that recontest. They're not
Yeah.
able to come back. So point at the moment does absolutely nothing, and we're kind of running the point as if it's gonna do something, and we're kind of sitting here. Whereas maybe it would have been a lot better of an option to here you could do one of two things, right? We could go up and just push the Ana, and honestly, I'd probably say yeah. So you could do probably I'd say that'd be the best option here. Okay, so I'd say as of the moment, you have three options, really, right? Three options. I'd say two of them are pretty good options. One of them is an okay option, and then we probably picked one of the worst options possible, right? here we could come up right side and take high ground, then push them off. I'd say would be a pretty good option, right? This would put your Ana on high ground. We would dislodge them from high ground, take the good positioning away from them. And if they're not expecting us, and like let's say we come out here and we charge over and they're not expecting us, we could potentially get a pick or two, right? Now, did he? Oh, never mind. Option 2, right? We could just flat up run up to these guys. Probably would say not as good of an option. I'd say as well, if we were going to do that, come out this doorway. There's no reason to come out this doorway. It just gives them more time to react to you,
Right.
right? So if we're going to come up here, that as well is an okay option. Probably say that it's okay because then we just get shot in the back by Soldier and Ana. So I'd say out of the all the options you could take, that one's like one of the okay to meh options, right? We could also turn around and punish the Sigma, right? Who is currently just dropped from high ground. If we come up behind him and we pincer him, he's dead, right? So if we're
Yeah.
listening and keeping our ears open and we hear, when we hear that he's down there, right, or whatnot, then we can come out here and we could like charge in after the Sigma and get that kill. So Sigma, good option. High ground, good option. This meta okay option, like running onto the open or the cart or anything like that, or sitting in the room and doing nothing would be the bad options, right?
Okay.
So here we pick the bad option instead of being one of the good options.
I'm escorting the payload. Let's keep it moving.
I will keep you here. Listen to your mommy.
Okay, so I think that also is a little bit reflective, and I'd like to re-go over this stuff because I think it's a little bit reflective of how we've been playing. So we have in the past discussed team compositions and how they play up against each other. What team comp are they on currently?
They're on spam.
Yeah, what are we on currently?
I don't. We're kind of mixed.
I would say that we're a brawl because, remember, if you're 4 or more characters of a specific comp, you are that
Mhm.
comp, and certain
Okay.
characters can be multiple, can be, certain, every character is going to be a varying level of these different comps, right? So Genji is going to be bad in spam,
Mm-hmm.
okay to good in brawl. I'd say he's good in brawl, and then best in dive, right? Or
Okay.
actually. Mm, I'd say that he's good in brawl, good in dive, right? So I'd say that he's almost even on those two, right?
Okay.
So therefore, Genji is brawl, right? You just we're not on a dive comp, so you'd get the dive out of there. Say okay, Genji's a brawl character because he works in brawl, right? So he's a good brawl character. He's a brawl character. Reinhardt's brawl. Mercy is not a brawl character. Ana's brawl. Widow is not a brawl character. Diva can't, again, same as Genji, is
Yeah.
good in dive, but also is good in brawl. Pretty bad in
Okay.
spam, right? So she's pretty much the
Yeah.
same as Genji, right? So as of the moment, with all that in mind, we're on a brawl, right? Because we have 4 brawl characters with maybe some spammy and divey aspects to our arcade, right? We have a Genji who can be a little bit divey, and Diva who can be a little bit divey, and Mercy who can be a little bit divey. Mercy's also can be spammy, and Widow can be spammy. But ultimately, most of our kit is brawl, right? So if they're spam and we're brawl, how should we be playing?
I should be closing the distance to engage them.
Yeah, we want to be fast. Our pacing wants to be fast, and our distance wants to be close. And this is, multiplied
Opposite.
by this is multiplied by the fact that they are on a spam, right? If we
Mhm.
are on a brawl and they are on a brawl, do we need to play? How I'd say that we don't need to play as fast or as close, right? It's not as much of a necessity, right? We still
Mhm.
want to play fast and close, but we need to play fast and close more so because they're on a spam, because the alternative is their advantage, right? If we're on a brawl against a brawl and we don't play close, or we don't play as close or as fast, that doesn't benefit them. This does benefit them if we don't play close or fast, right? Because they're on the spam comp. So, therefore, probably want to be going in, getting more aggressive, doing more things. Whereas here we're just kind of sitting around for that good portion of this. All right.
Down on the jaw.
So I think the reason why it works is because we bait them to come to point. This is to give you some more context as well. I think that that play is a lot more okay if the card is closer to it as well. Because if we go to cart, for example, when it's like, let's say it's around this car, right? Then they only have like what 10 seconds to touch, right? Which then therefore forces them to come to you, right?
Right.
It makes them have to come to you, which is what you want as the brawl. They have to come and touch cart and contest, right?
Right.
Which is good for you as a brawl. So that I think is fine. But the problem I think is that it was all the way over here, which means that it was going to be 20 seconds before you cap, right? Which means that they had a lot more time to spam you out and shoot at you. I think they dropped way too early and ran at you, which is just them misplaying the comp, right? They weren't playing their comp correctly. They sprinted at you when they were on a spam. They didn't keep their high ground. Like here, notice how like for some reason their Ana's. I mean, I wasn't paying attention to the entire thing, but for some reason their Ana's not on the high ground, right? And their Sigma wasn't on the high ground, and their Soldier, their Soldier and Mercy already respawned, right? But they gave up high ground too easily. I think they reacted to you very slowly. They
Mhm.
also initially, I would say they were holding the wrong high ground. They shouldn't have been on this high ground. They should have been on this high ground, right? So I
Mhm.
think that this worked because they made a lot of misplays, right? Which will not
Okay.
happen if you
Right.
at the high, if you go up ranks and you're trying to go up ranks, you go up to, as of the moment you said you're 2700. So you said,
Mhm.
yeah. So if you go up to diamond, they might not be making those same mistakes. Therefore,
Right.
we want to be ready for them not to be making those same mistakes so we can make the correct mistakes. Or not
Okay.
correct decisions, not correct mistakes. What am I talking about?
Right.
I'm not even close to done.
Welcome to the scrapyard.
Precision termination.
No one can hide from my sight.
Yeah, you probably want to, as of the moment, they look like they're backing up. Yeah. Do we feel as though we're likely to like continue to be getting staggers here down this front line?
I wasn't sure at that point. I was hesitant to get out of line of sight, and be too aggressive. So I was just planning on kind of holding that corner, maybe a
Okay.
little more.
So in this situation, my recommendation would probably be again take high grounds in between this fight here, right?
Okay.
So remember, just to give you a recap here, or if if I never mentioned it for some reason, I don't know, whatever. High grounds are fantastic, but that is not. That doesn't only mean high grounds are fantastic for your characters, because to be
Right.
honest, Reinhardt doesn't really care about high ground too much for himself.
Right.
High ground for Reinhardt, he can't shoot from high ground. Therefore, the only benefit that high ground gives Reinhardt is increased survivability, particularly when he's rotating. So if you're trying to get somewhere, it can get you there safer and sometimes faster, right? So it's useful as pathing and positioning for Reinhardt, but he doesn't want to stay on high grounds a lot of time. But the reason why Reinhardt would still take high ground is because it benefits your team. You can
Mhm.
take high ground. You can take high ground, rip it away from them, and give it to your team. And high ground's also really good for the enemy team too, especially when they're on a composition like spam. Right? When they're on their spam comp, if we just leave them high ground, that gives them a tremendous advantage. Whereas if we go up and take it away from them and remove that advantage, well, now we take that advantage away from them and give it to our team, right? So that's going to be very helpful for you, right? So, here, just again, probably another situation, probably want to go and take high ground, rotate up there.
Lead on! I live for this!
Get those fire streaks off. I think we were a little bit, we skipped a little bit there.
My son
Oh.
Have your attention here.
Alright, so in the situation, it's not Genji Blade that kills us. What kills us? I say there's two main things that main mistakes that we made here, that ends up getting us killed. See if you can identify them.
On the end.
My servants never
Have your attention,
All right.
yes.
Do you think you can spot them there?
What's that?
Yeah. Do you think you spotted them there,
Um, only one of them.
or only one of them? Okay. What was that?
Yeah. The hog hook.
Yep, definitely the hog hook was a big one, right? Because we dropped our shield at the wrong time. Hog hooks
Yeah.
us. Make sure we're watching for the hook, paying attention to it, being very aware of it, so we can look to block it. Because if hog lands a hook, or Ana lands a sleep, that can, or a nade, right? That could mean the difference between life and death. So we need to pay attention to those abilities, right? We don't need to pay attention as much to Genji deflect or Reinhardt fire strike, right? Or soldier helix. Those we still might want to pay attention to those, but they're not nearly as pressing or important to pay attention to as sleep, nade, and hook, right? Or charge, right? After we get hooked, we don't immediately shield. We attempt to swing, right?
Okay.
Look at our health bar, like, after they hook, and, like, let's say, like, so immediately after that first shot goes out, we're 278 HP, but because we continue to swing instead of shielding, we get down to 153, and then 73, right? So, and then 48, and then 37. So we go down before we shield. We're at 57 HP, right? So it's the difference that's like a 220 or 230 HP difference from when we should have been shielding to when we now start shielding. That's the difference between you dying to the Genji blade here, right? So we didn't die because of the Genji blade. We died because of the fact that we never shielded. Also, potentially can be like swinging on the if we like see that nobody else is here besides Genji. You shielding does nothing against Genji. Probably be worth it to swing on the Genji, right? Because you might be able to kill him. Possibly could try to charge him. Don't let him just like if you're gonna die anyways. Try to do something to stop him. So, no.
keep pushing forward. Go back with me.
Okay, they swapped up to a Reinhardt.
Push forward.
Shield hopping forwards, right? We've talked about that before. Don't just kind of slowly walk forwards. Do we have a whole team with us? Yeah, we do. Okay, good. Massive shatter, really good. Charge at the very end of your shatter once again. So, like here in the situation, let's rewatch that. So we land the big fat shatter. If we see Reinhardt's this low, might be worth it to just charge the Reinhardt. This would also close the distance. So you charge him into this left wall, because that would also close the distance over to the, is that a Baptiste and the Roadhog, right? So we charge Reinhardt over there, get closer, then we start shooting at the Roadhog, right? Or swinging on the Roadhog, right?
60 seconds.
Good charge. Alright, so overall, really good fight. Good hook block. Probably charge in after him. Never mind, that's good. Alright, really well played. Not many big problems there.
Guy right here. Pretty. As soon as it happened, I was like, oh, yep, I shouldn't have turned my back on the spawn.
Yeah. So,
No one can hide from my
Right.
sight.
so yeah, there we just weren't aware of Ana, and then we get slept and naded, and then punching me afterwards. So the big thing there was just firstly being aware of where their teammates are at, right, and their
Yeah.
location, and then secondly being aware of those abilities and looking to block them, right? Two big
Yeah.
ones, and then of course we end up dying there, and then that could mean the difference between winning or losing that fight.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, almost. Having a lot of those charges where we just barely tip people away.
Yeah.
So, keep working on that. If you just barely tip someone away, it's like, very minor mistake. Okay. Good kill.
I shall seize a payload
Alright.
safely.
Good fight. not a whole lot wrong there either.
Ready for battle. 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Get behind me.
Okay, like the positioning to start off here. Good fire strikes. Don't spam hold your shield there, or don't, I don't even know if
Yeah.
I would call it, but don't hold up your shield just against that spam, right, unnecessarily.
Right.
But we're not doing a ton of, just notice, like, we're not blocking really anything at the moment. I think we're blocking barely for Ana. And then besides that, we're like, so we're not even really fully blocking anybody, and we're also not blocking anything in specific.
Yeah.
Probably could charge over and join that fight over there, right? If you see that it's like it's a Doomfist off on his own, right? Like, you can put yourself like just a little bit out of like position, like you can give up that like to get that kill, right? Because that is important to like secure that kill there. So if we see Doomfist is like over there, we can go over. Might even stop him from killing whoever's over there. I think he went on your Widow. No, I don't think it would stop him, but yeah. So if he goes on your Widow, I'd probably just charge in after that because he's just over on his own. Okay, still just kind of sitting there, spam shielding. That's what I guess the term I'll use for it now is just like holding it against spam, just kind of spamming it up there, not really doing anything with it. So we're just spam shielding, not really doing very much with it. Also noticing that we're like paying attention to what's up with our team before we're engaging. We did not look behind us before we started walking, right? Because absolutely nobody is near us. So making sure we are paying attention to that. Looking, always checking behind us before we're engaging. Good shield though, watch the rock, right? Pay attention to those abilities. We keep getting stunned by them. Well, yep, probably say push that on that room a little bit faster. But after she starts getting away, that's fine to back up. Right. Other than those, like, a couple things we talked about, I think it was good positioning for you to start off on the high ground and then drop to the bottom left. I think that worked pretty well. Push in there, right? Orisa alone in a room, you're full HP. Winston, this would probably save your Winston, because I would imagine he's gonna die there without any team support. Right? There's nothing stopping you from pushing in there with them, and then that gets a free kill for you and keeps your teammate alive. So this play, right here. Now this is assuming that Orisa makes it through this. I would say as of the moment, it looks like a decent chance that Orisa is going to live and Winston is going to die, right? Which means the difference, right, of not just one, it means the difference between two. Because if we go in there, Winston survives, Orisa dies, so that puts you +1. If we do not go in there, Winston dies, Orisa survives, which puts you down 1, right? So this is very, just really important, because it's not just the difference between not getting a kill, it's 2 spaces, right? Two kill spaces on this chart that we have, right? Not just 1. So here, this is the equivalent of us losing out on a kill and letting a teammate die, right? From that one mistake of not pushing into that room, right? So there, he dies, right?
Yeah.
And then we push too late. We don't get the kill. Yeah, just watching for those shields. Because Orisa does get blocked there, as well as the fact that I think, everyone else is just a little bit too far back. So we only get one person with that, just paying attention to the situation. Could have waited, 2 extra seconds, and or I guess like we probably could have waited, a couple extra seconds and probably had it a little bit better. Like if we tried to go around now, we'd get 2. We wait for Rissa to run out, and we do it now. That's 3, right?
Yeah.
So just waiting for better scenarios than just that one. Shielding when we're like 30 HP, right? Watch the health bar. Okay. Fortifying Orisa, maybe not the best target when your whole team, again, when like Sigma's over here on the side and you have like 1, 2, almost 3 people looking at other people looking at him, right? Might be able to focus him a little bit harder. Again, just kind of target priority. Pay attention to what your team's paying attention to.
Meteor strike. Don't worry, my friend.
Look to charge him out of that. Well, first off, we're twisted the wrong direction here.
Yeah.
Twist the other way, and then you don't take any damage, and your Ana doesn't take any damage.
Yeah.
Let's rewatch that for a second. Okay, so I think that's you are correct. That is the right decision. I was a little bit. I was thinking wrong. I was thinking we should charge it, but you're definitely right here. Saving the Ana is more important than getting that charge on him. But we just go the wrong direction, so we end up taking 400 damage unnecessarily. So just twist this way, right?
Yeah, I remembered after I did that, I'm like, why did I turn that way? That was.
Stop.
Okay. Remember that in between that fight, we're okay. Let's think positioning real quick. Okay. So positioning checkboxes from this right side. Do us or our we as Reinhardt are setting the precedent for our team. So we hold a certain
Right.
direction, and our team holds that direction with us.
Right.
From here, does our team have easy access to high ground?
No.
Okay. I probably just say left side would give them
Yeah.
easy access to high ground, right?
Yeah.
So now
And
our
where
team has
we
easy access to high
retreat,
ground. Yeah.
if we try to retreat on this other side, we have nowhere
Exactly.
really to go.
Exactly, right? Retreating. Left side, okay, well, you have, cover to use, room to use,
Health back. Yep.
health pack, high grounds, right? 2 different options, high grounds. Right side, okay, we can go further into their team. We can go out into the open. We can go into this weird little, like, thing that's probably gonna put us outside of the fight, right? So, not really great options, right? So those
Yeah.
are the 2 main ones, right? The cover's the same, right? But it's the retreat and the high ground usage that are mainly going to be the 2 big ones here, right? Which means we probably want to be on that left side, not on this right side.
My ultimate is
Watch that fortify, and then also on top of that, even aside from fortifying, right? We step past the Sigma, right? Watch for that. Make sure we're not stepping past them. We also are outside of range on both those supports. Wait for the fight to progress just a little bit more so that they are drawn inwards. I would imagine that if we give it probably, let's say like we skip forwards 5 seconds. Let's look at the supports. Still a little bit further back, but Monkey's also primaling them. But we push forwards a couple inches. Well, now it's 4 people, right?
Yeah.
We go forwards another 5, 10 seconds. Or okay, well now there's we shatter. That's another 4 people once Doomfist lands, right? 4 people, right here. Supports, I would imagine, probably gonna be drawn into, right, so that they'd walk forwards. If we were in position for it, 4 people, but that is pretty far forwards. In any case, better shatters than just that single 1-man shatter that also is against a fortified Orisa, right? So watch for it.
Also jumped beforehand. I knew I did that afterwards. Gotta break that habit.
Okay. Why we die?
I got stunned, so I left the signal behind me.
So we let the rock hit us, which is a big one. Shield it, right? That's caused a bunch of deaths. On top of that, I'd probably say we're also getting over aggressive here, right?
Yeah.
We probably want we want to let them come in further. We want to let them walk through this choke. We don't want to try to engage them and have the On out of range and the Zen out of range, and Orisa and Sigma can just kind of sit there and back up and shoot at you for free, right? We don't want that to happen. If we do this and we walk around this corner, they can't shoot at us, right?
Yeah.
And we can touch cart. they can't push cart. Therefore, they have to come to us to do anything, right?
Yeah.
They are incapable of doing squat if we just sit around the corner. So therefore, if we just sit around this corner and we wait for them to come in and like position themselves like right here, well, now we can just start shooting at, swinging on them for free because we can just swing from around the corner and half of their team can't see us, right? So now we're
Yeah.
swinging from here and we're using the corner while still doing the same and or more damage than we were doing before, right? And we're taking not nearly as much damage, right?
Right.
So over aggressive, let them come to you, play on that left corner, block the rock.
Okay.
Um, jump at the end of your charge. That just gives you a little bit of extra distance with it.
Okay.
So if you're ever using it for mobility, jump at the very end of it.
No one can hide from my sight.
Okay. Good decision not to touch. We didn't have our whole team with us. Good awareness. I like that we turned around and checked. Counter charge that, right? If you see him slowly charging up that punch around that corner, wait, we can see him. He's Sonic. We can see that. Charge, because if you stop, like you could even just charge at him, right? Because either you pin him or you counter charge, and you're not gonna die. There is what is one Reaper gonna kill you when you're being pocketed by your whole team, but you have 4 people here. Doomfist is most certainly gonna die, right?
Yeah.
So
Definitely.
counter charge it.
Bring it on! I live!
Oh. Watch the spam shield. We're just kind of holding it here for nothing. Listen to the Doomfist going behind you. Probably could like charge in and get after him, right? So he's punching in behind your team. Probably could like charge backwards at him, right? For example, here he gets stunned as well, right? So like, he had no abilities there. Probably could punish that, so pay attention to your surroundings, be aware.
Raise your strike!
That's a little far back, so I don't think you necessarily need to turn for that one. You don't have to always turn around, right? You don't turn around when he's like a mile away from you. Watch our purple, like we kind of like drop shield and turn around and look away from ourselves when there's like people right next to us when we're purple and we don't have supports on us. So we're being a little careless, right? Watch your surroundings and pay attention to what's happening. So, we can't drop shield, turn around and not pay attention to the people next to us if the whole, if we don't have team support, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, my friend.
Hey, nice kill. I like that we played on top of. I think we played on top purposely because we knew Doomfist couldn't punch us. That's a good idea. Not a lot we could have done there. We didn't really have any team support, so I think that was fine.
Fall back! Fall back!
Okay, good decision. So I'm just evaluating the situation. Yeah, it's probably a good decision. You would have had like poor positioning coming out, and yeah, that's fine.
The payload has reached the
Hold right here that I wanted to hold close.
Okay. All right. So we do have a bunch of teammates with us. I would probably say now, like it really depends upon the situation. Might say that like just waiting for them to come to you and like maybe holding down in this mega room might be better because then we let them come to us. We have so much cover to use. We have a health pack. We have ways to back up and escape. Excuse me. We have like we can let some support sit on high ground and people take high ground. Like is if Widowmaker's sitting up on high ground, then we engage the fight on cart. Is she really gonna have that much like line of sight on what's happening or Ana? right? So this would give us high ground advantage. This would give us health pack. This would give us cover. So, and then it'd only mean that we'd have to wait an extra, 7 seconds. So it'd be very safe option. I'd probably say that'd be the better option to go
No
for.
one can
But
hide from my sight.
I think this is better than sitting on the other end of the choke
Yeah.
or the no man's land. Yeah, we get a pick. Probably should be looking to press our advantage a little bit. We just kind of chilling at the moment, right? Spam shielding when we want to be getting aggressive. Just kind of sitting there. Maybe we were waiting for a shatter to come up. That's possible. Watch the rock, right? Shield against the rock. Remember, you're not always going to be when it comes to your shield, right? You're not always swing, 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 swing. Now I shield for 10 seconds. Right? That's not always how it's gonna work. Sometimes you swing, 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 and then you have to put up shield for half a second, right? And then you're back to swing, swing, swing. Or sometimes you are going to be shielding and going shield, 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 and then you swing one time, right? You go swing, shield, 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 shield. So it doesn't have to be, it's going to fluctuate and vary, and it doesn't have to be one then the other, then one then the other. Very slow
Yeah.
pacing.
That's too predictable too.
Yeah, so exactly, it's going to be predictable as well. Whenever we start swinging, we stay swinging. Whenever we start shielding, we stay shielding, right? That seems to be a consistent factor. Don't let it be like that. So here in this situation, should have shielded for it. Letting the time slip away a little bit here. So let's get over to that, main points and whatnot and review of what we talked about. So ability usage, shield against things, right? Make sure that we're using it when we're low. Watch your health bar, especially watch your health bar. Watch when teammates need it, and watch for specific abilities to block. If you need to, specifically, and this is a thing I tell Diva players, right? Specifically think about the abilities that you need to watch out for. So come into each game, press tab, look at their team comp, and think, okay, I need to intentionally be thinking about this ability, that ability, and this ability. Oh, and then also ultimates, right? So abilities and ultimates. So I need to block that ability, this ultimate, that ability, this ultimate, right? So
Okay.
if we, for example, were to have, let's just say enemy team comp is Diva, Orisa, Ashe, Bastion, Ana, Baptiste, right? Diva. Abilities, not a whole lot we need to block. Bomb,
Yeah.
we do need to block bomb, right? So bomb's our responsibility, so we have to keep bomb in mind. Orisa, not a whole lot we can block, right? We can't really block it. Oh, but abilities you need to watch out for, right, are the Fortify, because and the Shield, because we need to watch out for those when we're trying to shatter, right? And when we're trying to charge, right? We can't let her have Fortify if we're trying to charge her, right? We said Ashe, you look to block the Dynamite, right? Bastion, we look to block him when he's ulting, and we need to just pay extra close attention to him because he's going to deal a whole heck of a lot of damage, right? Ana, watch for the nades and the sleeps, right? Baptiste, not a whole lot, but you do need to watch for his windows so we can look to block when his team does in the situation where windows, right? So intentionally think about what abilities and ultimates do I need to block against, right? Moving on, Fire Strike, good, just needs some work like on landing it, but overall good, usually good, not many big problems. Charge, pretty much the same, not a lot of problems. Counter charge though, up against that, Doomfist or against Reinhardt. Haven't really seen us doing that too often. And then use charge to catch up to people sometimes, or to peel as well as in some situations. Overall, ability usage is like a medium priority. Then ultimate usage, make sure that we are looking to make them a little bit bigger. Don't go for just one person. Look for bigger shatters. Be more ambitious with it. Make sure we're paying attention specifically to the things that can block it and the things that'll get in the way of it. Make sure that we're letting people group up. Don't try to shatter when no one's within range of it, right? Make sure that they're all right in front of you, right? So overall, shadow usage probably like a medium priority as well. Reinhardt does not have mechanics. Positioning, make sure that we're using cover still, take high grounds, rotate there in between fights, take best positioning possible in between fights, right? And then besides that, that's pretty much it. Not a whole lot more with positioning. There's a couple odds and ends positioning things that we talked about. Overall,
Mhm.
pretty good. And then that means it probably goes like a low to medium priority. Also, adding in with shields, shield hopping as well, right? Make sure we're doing that when we're closing distance. Don't hold for spam either, right? Don't spam shield. Moving on, awareness/aggression. Pay attention to your health bar. A lot of times you just didn't watch it, and then we'd be like 30 HP, and then we start shielding, right? Start shielding
Yeah.
much more, much higher than that, right? Pay attention to where is my team at? Where's the enemy team at, right? Sometimes we would push forwards and get aggressive when we didn't have anybody with us, right? Or we wouldn't push forwards when they didn't have anybody with them, right? Paying
Yeah.
attention to what is happening in kill feed, what is happening in the fight, paying attention to the abilities and ultimates, right? How does team comp dictate my playstyle? Firstly, abilities and ultimates. Secondly, team compositions, right? Or they're on a spam comp, we're on a brawl comp, probably should be playing much more aggressive, right? That gets into
Yeah.
aggression as well. Pay attention to your aggression scaling. We didn't talk about that too much this time, but there were some times where we were just off with our aggression scaling, right? Where we should have been aggressive, we were passive, or vice versa, whatever, right? And then that is about it. Overall, probably say awareness/aggression goes to like a medium-high priority, right? So to put that all in order real quick, awareness/aggression is a medium, is a number 1. Right? Number 2 is going to be probably, probably your ability usage, because it also led to us dying more often, right? So we ended up dying a decent bit because of our misuse of abilities. Then ultimate usage, very closely followed, and then pretty closely followed by that as well is the positioning, right? Any questions on anything, or just anything else in general?
No, no, sounds good.
Okay, so then let me stop the recording.